It's official. Trump just made history in big announcement made 10 months into his presidency. Congrats in order. Once again, President Donald Trump makes history. Make America Great Again was not just a slogan. Although our economy was supposed to grow at best at a 2.5% rate, and even though we have had 2 devastating hurricanes, the economy went on to grow a whole 3% during the third quarter of the fiscal year. The Trump administration also went on to add 1,405,000 jobs in their first 8 months of Trump presidency. By contrast, former President Barack Hussein Obama had lost 4,367,000 jobs in his first 8 months in office. Not even CNBC could lie about this news. First reading on third quarter GDP up 3%. vs 2.5% rise expected. The U.S. economy unexpectedly maintained a brisk pace of growth in the third quarter. An increase in inventory investment and a smaller trade deficit offset a hurricane-related slowdown in consumer spending and a decline in construction. Gross domestic product increased at a 3% annual rate in the July-September period after expanding at a 3.1% pace in the second quarter. The U.S. economy unexpectedly maintained a brisk pace of growth in the third quarter as an increase in inventory investment and a smaller trade deficit offset a hurricane-related slowdown in consumer spending and a decline in construction. Gross domestic product increased at a 3% annual rate in the July-September period after expanding at a 3.1% pace in the second quarter, the Commerce Department said on Friday. The department said while it was impossible to estimate the overall impact of Hurricanes Harvey and Irma on third quarter GDP, preliminary estimates showed that the back-to-back storms had caused losses of $121.0 billion in privately owned fixed assets and $10.4 billion in government-owned fixed assets. Harvey and Irma struck parts of Texas and Florida in late August and early September. Hurricane Maria, which destroyed infrastructure in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, had no impact on third-quarter GDP growth as the islands are not included in the United States national accounts. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast the economy growing at a 2.5% pace in the third quarter. Excluding inventory investment, the economy grew at a 2.3% rate, slowing from the second quarter's 2.9% pace. With post-hurricane labor market, retail sales, and industrial production data already showing an acceleration in underlying economic activity, Friday's report will probably have no impact on monetary policy in the near term. Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen cautioned last month that economic growth in the third quarter will be held down by the severe disruptions caused by the hurricanes. The U.S. Central Bank is expected to increase interest rates for a third time this year in December. The economic recovery since the 2007 to 2009 recession is now in its 8th year and showing little signs of fatigue. The economy is being powered by a tightening labor market, which has largely maintained a strong performance that started during former President Barack Obama's first term. No U.S. stocks have risen in anticipation of President Donald Trump's tax reform. The administration has yet to enact any significant new economic policies. Trump wants big tax cuts and fewer regulations to boost annual GDP growth to 3%. Inventory boost. Businesses accumulated inventories at a $35.8 billion pace in the third quarter in anticipation of strong demand. As a result, inventory investment contributed 0.73 percentage point to third quarter GDP growth, after adding just over 0.1 percentage point to growth in the prior period. Exports increased at a 2.3% rate in the third quarter, while imports fell at a 0.8% pace. That left a smaller trade deficit, leading to trade adding 0.41 percentage point to GDP growth. Trade has contributed to output for 3 quarters in a row. Hurricanes Harvey and Irma, which hurt incomes and undercut retail sales in August, crimped consumer spending in the third quarter. Growth in consumer spending, which accounts for more than 2/3 of the U.S. economy, slowed to a 2.4% rate following a robust 3.3% pace in the second quarter. The storms also weighed on investment in non-residential structures like oil and gas wells. Spending on mining exploration, wells, and shafts grew at a 21.7% rate, decelerating from the second quarter's 116.3% pace. As a result, spending on residential structures fell at a 5.2% pace in the third quarter after rising at a 7% rate in the second quarter. Investment in home building, which was already undermined by land and labor shortages, also took a hit from Harvey and Irma. Spending on residential construction declined at a 6% rate, contracting for a second straight quarter. Business investment on equipment rose at an 8.6% rate, increasing for a fourth straight quarter. Government investment fell for a third straight quarter. President Trump has delivered on every promise he has made. The economy is back. Illegals crossing our border is down by 74%. The wall is being built. Regulations are being destroyed. All this without the help of the GOP or the Democrats, who are there to just stand in his way every step of the way and put out lies about him and his administration. Never did I dream that after 8 long dark years under the charlatan President Barack Hussein Obama that we could be on track in less than a year. We are now headed back to the America we were during the Reagan years. The days when if you worked hard you could get ahead in life without help from the government nor without the government impeding your progress. It's morning again in America. President Trump might very well go down as the best president in history. And all it took was shunning interests on both sides of the aisle and doing what's right for the American people. Imagine after so many years of so many presidents doing what's right for every third world two-bit cesspool, we have a president who actually cares Americans first. Please share if you are proud that we have a president that puts America first.